Well, I want to point out that some commodities are actually more important than other commodities. Actually, well, I'm not a beer drinker, to tell you the truth. I don't even drink, but used to drink. But, if you really want to think about what commodity is probably one of the most important in the world, it's booze, man. Anheuser-Busch, man, the old beer car. I don't know when this is from, basically the 1800s. It's the trucking in by rail, baby. And, your local pub was one of the things that most people supported more than any church or parish. Going all the way back before Jesus was even around, man. That's a fact. That's a fact. Even though, people might not like to hear that, but that's really what's going on. That's really what's going on. Now, I know silver is very important, but, if you're actually talking about survival of commodities, one of the best things out there is probably booze and food, but booze and cigarettes too. The vices. And, I got to tell you right now, I see silver went up over 18 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, whoa. Which means it can take another hit. But, eventually it's not going to take a hit. It's going to start creeping up. And at the very end, it's going to go up a hell of a lot more than you expect. It's going to be like doing a serious burnout at the end, flying high like a jet, like a kite. And then everybody's going to be screaming, the sky is falling, the dollar's crashing. And what I'm really get aggravated at the most is these profiteers for, like the preachers for, actually the preachers too. The ones that hide behind God and they tell you, oh, yeah, like, whatever. It's always usually a big drama production for profit. And, well, I don't know. I try to keep things kind of like down to a reasonable level here and I put serious stuff out, but I don't like freaking dramatizing the hell out of things, just for scaring the hell out of people. I guess some people get off on that, though. They like, it's almost like the Martian story. Yeah, let's hear some doom and gloom, baby. It's doom and gloom and entertainment, So, but, when it gets really hot and heavy for silver, it's going to really take off and do the burnout at the end. And that's when they're going to be screaming the highest. It's got a long ways to go before that happens. And, I could do a fake-out move. That's what I'm kind of wondering. I don't know. But, in the meantime, a lot of people are too well concentrated on the end of the earth and, the destruction of civilization and the end of humanity as we know it. Hey, don't worry about it. Be happy, There's plenty of Ukrainian women that are probably still being plenty happy when, even though there's a lot of stuff going on over there in Ukraine, and just enjoying the contest and whatever and having fun. Because, when it comes down to it, if you're going to freaking worry about every stupid thing forever, man, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff, That's really what it comes down to. And, the thing is, a lot of these yo-yos on, well, I see them on Alex Jones. Man, I can mention that guy, but pretty much every one of his guests on there is a load of it. Even this Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, and I used to respect Ronald Reagan, and I know he was in his administration, but this guy is getting to be like, yo-yo, you're not telling me nothing, man. Go tell me how to freaking weld something or build something with pressure-treated wood, lay some bricks, make an underground storage facility or something. If the world's going to end, man, let's do something constructive to make sure the world don't end for us, But, it's almost like they got a constant freaking barrage of garbage coming out that is like scaring the crap out of people for profit, man. I'm getting sick of it. I have been sick of it, to tell you the truth. So anyway, just have fun, man. Enjoy the water. Water is going to be the precious commodity in the future, as this girl recognized. It's better than oil. But, the thing is, they always play the religious card. The religious card's been around forever, man. Back when, used to have the temples and a guy would go up there and say, whatever the hell he would say, worship the sun, whatever they did. Way back when, I'm the big incarnation of God, and that's really what they try to do. I mean, it's a scam. It's a tax-free scam. It's not like I'm knocking religion per se, but most of the people that are the structured religion, the ones that profit by it, they're the biggest bunch of garbage going, which includes politicians. I mean, I'm not even going to knock Obama here specifically. I know, probably more of my listeners don't like Obama than do, but he's pretty popular still, believe it or not. I saw he gave the White House, speech just recently. and they posted it on YouTube. He's got a lot of thumbs up, and he's a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, he turned out to be a really good president." Everybody said he was going to be bad. I'm thinking, well, you know what? I realize they're all bad. Even the conservatives, the liberals, I don't give a damn what you call them, because all these presidents are controlled by the power. But one of the things they do to control people is they play the religious card. So here you see Obama with Billy Graham. So I mean, not to say anything one way or the other, but that's all part of the game, man. Religion keeps people in line, So I don't know what the heck. I mean, it's really ridiculous, and they're all talking about, this is the year that the whole collapse is going to happen, and oh my God, here it comes. The sky is falling upon us. What are we going to do? Oh, but it's actually what's going on. It's just going to be another freaking cycle. I mean, every freaking 7 years or so, they get a recession. I know they say, it's the year to Shemitah, whatever. I don't give a shit. Whatever, Every so often they have a recession. We're probably coming up to one, because the common sense facts, these are hardcore facts. It's like the oil industry is a major portion of what's going on in the United States as far as employment. And actually, if you took out all the growth and employment in like North and South Dakota and the Bakken oil reserve areas, and all the shale oil industries in the United States, if you took that out, the unemployment would be very bad. So now they're all getting laid off. Like I think in Australia, they're laying off shale oil industry workers left and right. Canada tar sands is going to survive better, because I said this before in another video, that because they do all the capital expenditures up front, and once they got all that stuff in, once they got the operation going, tar sands doesn't cost that much to produce the oil. But with, what do you call it? Shale oil, it takes more money on an ongoing basis, a lot of capital expenditures. So we're going to have, the next unemployment numbers come out, they're probably going to look bad. They're probably going to look bad for the retail sector, so they're going to say the sky's falling. But, we all know this crap. I mean, for crying out loud. What it really comes down to? It's like you got to go back to 101, square roots. And I got to say this, how many times are people going to tell me that Vladimir Putin's a Christian? I'm like, he is? The guy was in a KGB for 16 years. His parents weren't. It's almost everybody, it's a politician, kisses babies, and they play the religious card. All of them. I'm not going to say nothing bad or good about this guy, but they're all a load of it, man. It's all keeping control of the people. Come on. I mean, I can't. I'm like, forget it. What am I going to say, man? Putin's the purple people eater, man. He's bad. He's not a good guy. Anyways, but going all the way back to freaking day one, before we even had historical records, religion's been a thing that's always, kept control of the people, and it's playing the same stupid game today. But why keep your eye focused in on this type of stuff so much? It's I mean, yeah, say you got, you're Christian, you believe in Jesus, right? Say you are, like whether you are or you aren't, whatever. It's not like you don't need a lot of people telling you stuff for 16 million hours about Jesus. It's like real simple, right? You just read the red words and you're done, right? You pretty much know what's going on. And actually the red words is what a lot of people figure was the right thing before Jesus was around, right? Pretty simple, right? A lot of people knew what right and wrong was anyway. But he spelled it out, right? So I'll just leave it like that. Whether you're for Jesus or against Jesus or whatever. But it's almost like you don't need all these religious people telling you things for 8 million hours. Like, what the hell? The sky is going to fall and Gog is going to come upon us. And Obamacare is going to come upon us too. Now, if this was Obamacare, I wouldn't mind. Anyway. But, the thing is, when Obamacare is probably your biggest threat to freedom than anything, actually, I wish it was like just plain insurance and giving health care to people, but it's not. Man, I tell you, I wish the freaking medical yo-yos would really get on board with this healing with frequencies, because that stuff could be cheap, and also growing lots of different herbs and also the medical marijuana oil, like Rick Simpson did, which is one of them super duper cure-alls pretty much, and lots of vitamin C, and maybe the ozone therapy. Because, one of the biggest threats to your financial freedom and also your freedoms in general, which I know people are concerned about just because that's why they got silver, because they're trying to be outside the banking system, is this damn healthcare thing, because it's got too much government control. I think eventually, everybody's going to have more ID cards, more numbers, your social security card. Probably going to be people are going to be, I would think in the future you're going to see where they'll mandate it where people, not that, well, they've already been saying this, but they said it years ago, but they also, I can also see, since it's government health care, they could probably say, we can mandate that you have a chip with your medical record in it, and once that happens, they can just throw more information in there, right? So, control the people. So, hey, man, you got to fight back, just like the girls are doing here, man. Don't mess around. Don't mess around. You got your back to the wall. Get out the, the pea shooters and the bullets and stuff. And whether you're wearing high heels and you're looking really cool, it don't matter. You got to fight back. The problem is people are just getting on the board with all those stupid giddy rumors left and right, and it's like they're not taking any action. I don't even like putting out these videos too much on this silver stuff. It's like I do it really for psychological purposes, more for people. And, I bring out some other facts that maybe other people don't do, because I realize, A, the energy industry got decimated in the United States, or destroyed, pretty damn bad. There's massive layoffs. And there's going to be all the financial reporting. It's going to be the jobs report's going to come out. The financial reporting in the industry and energy sector is coming out. It's going to affect the stock market big time. It's a major portion of the S&P. It's going to bring the economy down. I know. Actually, there's other stuff going on that's even worse, because just getting back to some of the military stuff, it's actually Russia has stopped agreeing to oversight of their nuclear weapons because I don't know what the hell it is. It's almost like they don't want to bother with existing agreements with the West. So they're saying they don't know if they can keep control of all their nuclear stockpile, and plus they have 50% of the rich uranium in the world. I don't know. I could see where this junk's leading to. And if you got an electronic system, a banking system, guess what happens if, you got one nuke just goes off, even if it doesn't hurt or kill one person, man, that can bring down the whole electronic system pretty damn bad for a long period of time and cause a lot of widespread financial panic. So you got to prep, just like the girls are doing here, man. They're prepped. They know what they're doing. They got bullets and guns and high heels, right? So anyway, and there's always things that can happen. Like look at this Budweiser truck, man. It fell off and skidded off the road on the snow and the ice. I call that a major catastrophe, right? Hey, man, you got the Budweiser truck. He's trying to come into town. All the people they're all snowed in for the winter. The power lines are down, and hey, you still want to be able to drink. Most people, I don't drink beer, but a lot of people want to drink beer while they're near their wood-burning stove. They could always put the beers out in the snow and keep them cold, and got their wood-burning stove, right? But if the Budweiser truck slides off in a ditch, man, you got a major problem, right? Come on. People worry about. To me, this would be a disaster, actually, because as far as like the morale of the town goes, boy, that would probably put the morale of the town in a. If this was coming into a city that was running out of beer, hey, I can tell you right now, that would really bring the morale down a lot, man. Morale has a lot to do with, with males, women, and booze, right? So, it has a lot to do with it. So, it's like, when all hope is lost, you always got your Budweiser or you got your Coors Light. So, this could be a disaster too. But, it's like there may be stuff coming up. I think what's really the deal is, though, you're going to have a pretty good warning sign when there might be some let's say a disaster where you're talking about a military conflict or something like that, right? Um, the one thing I think could be a problem is, well, if there really is a major economic disaster in the United States, I think these oil prices, man, I don't know what the hell they're doing this for, man. It's almost like I wouldn't be messing with Putin's money, to tell you the truth. I would have just armed the hell out of Ukraine, and I wouldn't be doing this deal with Putin the way they're trying to do this. But it looks like they're going to bring down the entire global economy by bringing down the oil prices too far. And, in reality is the supply, I don't think is going to be able to be kept up by the Saudis, especially what's going on in the wintertime, because it's actually a fairly cold winter globally. And, it's like, how the hell is it going to happen where people, are being able to heat their house? And, I'm talking about globally. I mean, actually, I watched the channel 2030 Adapt a lot, and I'm looking at a lot of stuff he's posted on the mini ice age. Yeah, I saw the freaking thing where they had almost a foot of snow in Vietnam. First time that happened in over 100 years on the rice paddies. They had like almost a foot of snow in Saudi Arabia in the deserts, also in Algeria, the North deserts. That stuff don't happen. I don't know, winter's actually kind of like maybe almost half over now, but it's almost the middle of the winter. But as far as globally going, I think there's got to be a lot of freaking pressure on for demand for heating oil across the world. And the only other way you're going to stay warm is to go down to the old ale house and established in 1854 and have some ale, because I don't see how they're going to keep these prices down. But they've been succeeding so far. But there's still like. Some of the predictions they talked about, like $39 crude oil. Remember, Goldman Sachs came out with that. And as soon as they came out with that prediction, it took a real hit on crude oil. But you notice it hasn't really. It's kind of hovering between 45 something and 48 something. It's kind of like steadying out now, and I think it's going to start creeping up. It really should be. I'd say at least 70. Really, it should at least be 70. But if one thing goes wrong in Saudi Arabia, where ISIS makes a successful attack on some of the Saudi refineries and pipelines, you can see it skyrocket. Now, interesting is like silver's over 18 again. People were saying, "Oh, wait for it to go to 10." He says, "I don't know if it's going to go to 10. Maybe it'll go to 10 now, but I don't think so." But this is the kind of game. I just think that no matter where the hell you bought silver, even if you bought silver years ago at the absolute height at like 48 or something, everybody's going to be in profit eventually. Everybody. Palladium's been taking a big hit, and I know why that is because industry they're saying industry's way down. That's why copper's way down. Palladium actually is 90% industrial metal, but I think palladium's going to go way up because of tensions with Russia. Because it's almost like, I don't know, Russians got too much of the supply of palladium. They got 43% of the world supply plus some reserves. So I don't know where that's going to lead to, but the thing is, it's almost like the same old kind of garbage has been going on forever. And, it's the same type of people that are, fanning the flames of, I don't know what you want to call it. They're just like fearmongers to the max. I mean, the pastors, it don't matter who they are, the economic experts and whatever the hell it is. I mean, I basically just get stuff right off the major media, put a combination of the alternative media. But I realize, it's a patient waiting game. And it could be that, we run into major disasters in the future with, global conflicts. But, what good am I doing by presenting a silver video about that? Really not much good. So I personally rather present other types of things. And I have been and I will be continuing to do that, but I realize that, if silver is only one facet of what's going to happen in the future. I think what's going on, though, is that we're going to probably have a major problem in a near-term future, as Adapt 2030 was talking about, with food production, and because of the weather, because of the cold, because we're going into a mini ice age, and there's a lot of. I've been looking at that situation for a number of years. I mean, I looked at it back when they had some crazy stuff happen in the UK. I think it was back in 2008 with weather, and I says, "Wow, that's interesting." And then it kind of warmed up, but it doesn't happen like all at once. But if you start looking over the long-term trend for the next, I don't know, well, it's going to be the long-term trend all the way. I think the middle of the next ice age, where the bottom, it's going to bottom out, is going to be 2060. So it's a long-ass stretch, man. So actually, this is going to be one of your big problems, believe me. And, it's going to take, I know some people say there's not much silver used in solar panels, but it's true. There is a lot of silver used in solar panels currently. And that's one of the things that people could possibly do to combat, the effects of cold weather, with by producing energy in a very clean manner. Because I think that, well, once they're closing down a lot of these shale oil industries in Australia and in the United States, and I think Howard Ham, whatever his name is, Harold Ham, is talking about selling off some of his stuff over here in the U.S. in the shale oil industry. It's not going to come back like turning on a light bulb. So actually, unfortunate is that you're probably going to feel a big pinch in energy when silver really, really takes off. They're all pretty much going to run together in a general way. But anyway, you might want to also invest in a little bit in, well, I don't know about beer, is not very good for long-term storage, but some of the whiskeys, bourbon, Jack Daniels, vodka, things like that too. Because in a long haul, if things really got tough, I think there'll be a hell of a lot more tradable than even silver. But just beware of all these yo-yos and the, these preachers, these doomsday sayers. I mean, in the worst freaking times, people have always survived. I mean, it wasn't about, they didn't survive by worrying about things too much. They survived by taking constructive action. So anyway, that's about all I got to say about this. I want to go work on my Jeep a little bit more here. Put another patch panel on the other side, and it's dark, and probably get that part done and go on to the next step tomorrow. Time-consuming process, man. And then I'll be putting a locker in it later, and like to test it out in the snow. That's gonna be a pretty squirrely Jeep because it's a little Suzuki Samurai with a wheelbase about the size of a go-kart with a locker in the back, doing donuts with that thing, probably flip it over some, but I'll have to be careful. Anyway, that'll be a separate update, but hey, you're better off just freaking working your ass off and not worrying too much. I think it's a waste of time to get on with all these stupid giddy rumors that are on the internet. I really do. I mean, I look at all the facts and what's going on. I realize that the oil industry is a major part of the employment of the United States. It's a major part of the GDP. The numbers are going to look like shit pretty soon, and that's going to affect the markets. But that's not the end of the world, man. It's just a cycle. So, but that's the time when you're probably your silver. That's probably why, silver's going up too, because it has the aspect where it's like gold. Gold, it was like getting around 1,300 first time in so many months. So, it looks like stuff's recovering because it's like, where's the money going to go, right? So part of it goes into the precious metals. silver's got that dual hat. So anyway, that's about all I got to say about this, because I'm kind of really annoyed at some of the yo-yos out there with the sky is falling. Anyway, the sky might be falling, but if the sky's falling, I'm gonna be building some stuff to keep the sky up there. You know what I mean? That's my attitude.